you so much for joining me today for this time together. I listened to Miss Ashley's webinar on Monday, and she had some amazing statistics, and I wanted to share those with everyone. It was more than 80% of venture firms don't have a single Black investor, and just 1% of venture funded startups are Black. So that was huge because we don't have a ton of Black startups here, but we do have Black businesses, and that makes a difference. And then the last one, which was my favorite, was the Washington Post quoted that as of April 2020, that nearly 450,000 African-American businesses were closed due to COVID. And so that made me look at the numbers on the Black Friday website, and I confirmed them with Ashley today. It's over 200 businesses. So imagine if 15% of those businesses closed because of COVID, and as well as what's going on in the world. So that's a huge number. And we are a city of mom and pop businesses, and we cannot afford to lose not even one. So as a community, we need to come together, get this together, and step up and support. So today we're gonna have a discussion and really get into it and see where we're at in our business, how we as a community can come together, what we want other people to step up and help us do, and how we can support others in our community. So I want to go around. It's a small group, so I think we can go around and everybody tell me, one, what they hope to achieve from this, and also maybe share like your business story. So your successes, your struggles, and then what you hope to hear from this conversation. So we'll start with Desiree, and then we'll work our way back up.
This is personal for me. I would say I started the organization because of my backstory and having my own children placed in foster care due to drug addiction. And so when I had the opportunity to reinvent myself, I was always compelled for children in foster care to, number one, not look like their circumstance, but to feel dignified and be treated with dignity. So that was my passion. And why I started the organization. Started it 6 years ago, really had to link up with mentors and a lot of self-education because I knew nothing about nonprofit. All I knew is my motivation was to put the spotlight on the customized needs of primarily African-American children in foster care, and then it just grew. I had to realize where I lived at. I'm from New York, and so I had to open it up to all ethnicities because all children definitely needed that spotlight as well. I would say we evolved and transformed very, very quickly. Never expected that because of the need here in Arizona. We are one of the 5th on the list in the country for the worst place for children to be raised, as well as have a high volume of children that are vulnerable. For example, there's 7,000 homeless youth. That number is increasing, especially due to COVID, as well as 3,000 children in foster care. That number is also increasing right here in Pima County. So with that being said, we evolved very quickly because of the need. And then I would say with the struggles, because we grew so quickly, there was some gaps in the organization. You know, we were built on service, but as an organization, we really didn't have a firm foundation to continue to grow for long term. So we kind of had to take a step back and, analyze the organization so that we could be here again for a while, years to come, actually, build a legacy and an empire, because unfortunately there will always be children that are vulnerable. So I would say our, triumph is the success of the high numbers that we have served, and but the struggle was, implementing a firm foundation.
Wonderful. Hi, Justin. Welcome. We're going to come back to you so you can introduce yourself and all the things. We're going to jump over to Mo. Thank you so much for sharing, Desiree.
Thank you.
So my business birth story was sparked by a cross-country move. My family moved from Georgia here to Arizona in 2013, and when I moved here, I did not have 2 full-time businesses. So really coming and just kind of being aware and paying attention to what was missing and in the community, and what the conversations were that I was having, and recognized that I could fill that gap. So I started the Confetti Collective in 2013 as a blog solely focused on natural hair. And much like Desiree, when she started the thing and you kind of realize, okay, well, the need is a little bit greater, I recognized that there was a bigger need, specifically for Black women. That conversation about natural hair was bigger than just the hair. There were similarities between the journeys of women of all ethnic groups that focused on confidence and self-esteem. So we expanded the natural hair blog into a lifestyle platform. And from doing that, building that for 2 years, other businesses in the community started coming to me and asking for help with social media, because that was all I had. That was all I had to use to leverage to, kind of help me build my business and get the word out there. So the second business was birthed by the first business. And I think for me, being the Sierra Vistan on the panel, one of the things that I really hope to get from this conversation is just an opportunity to create more empowerment in our communities. For me, I have always been very purposeful and intentional about making connections outside the gate. I'm former military, my husband's former military, and the military community is very compartmentalized. And if you're not careful, you will not do anything outside of the installation. And I guess I've been fortunate that I've always recognized the value of what's happening outside the gate. So me being able to be here and having, over the years, having been able to make the connections that I've made with people in Tucson, I just hope that this is another step. Like, we just going to keep this thing rolling. We're going to keep on moving and keep on growing, with intention and purpose, and knowing what the end result is going to be for our community.
Thank you so much, Mo. I appreciate it. Miss Ashley.
Hi, good evening. My name's Ashley, and I want to talk a bit about how ROU came about. ROU, spelled R-O-U-X, is a nod to my background, a Creole background. My family originated from Lafayette, Louisiana. They live in Houston, Texas, and Katy, Texas now. And since I've been a young girl, I've learned how to make a proper ROU. It's actually a rite of passage in my family, how to make a proper ROU. And so I wanted to incorporate that name into the new business I launched last year in February, with the premise being that it's a collaboration, not ego-driven, not knowing I'm the sole person with a new idea, but knowing that it's a collective coming together with a purpose and force behind us to make change. So that's where ROU events came out of. Here recently, loving working with the Blacks Friday team about uplifting our local Black businesses. And our mission there is making sure they're spotlighted and recognized. So that's going very well. The struggle I see locally is that very recognition. I've heard from many people, there's no Black companies here, or I don't know any Black business owners. And now hopefully that can be a solution with an online reference and website that has listed, as you said earlier, over 200 Black businesses here locally. And so let's uplift, let's empower, and there aren't any more excuses.
Oh, yes.
Louis, I'm sorry, but you gotta follow Ashley with that one. Wait, you're muted.
Is that my turn to step up now?
No, not your turn. It's Sean Louis' turn.
Oh, I was about to say, I was like, that's hard to follow right there.
Oh man, so my business birth story actually involves Ashley. I started Black Renaissance out of to be honest with you, out of pure anger and frustration, because I came back to Tucson after a pretty racist incident that happened up in the city of Gilbert, with having to flee that area and come down here. And so when I came down here, I think I came around January, and so February came around, Black History Month, right? So I'm expecting to see, some kind of event happening downtown, especially with a lot of the venues that I frequent constantly, and I didn't see any. And so I made a I have a problem with when I sometimes I will post something out of anger, and so this time was the only time it actually worked out. where people were saying, hey, you know what, I'm down to actually help you in finding these Black creatives. So we started a quick open mic at a screening room, in which then I started slowly finding out that if I meet maybe 4 or 5 white people, I will meet a Black person, because a lot of Black people inside Tucson, we're not connected to each other. So I set out my goal. My goal was to continue to meet a ton of people, because I know eventually I will stumble upon these amazing Black artists. To be honest with you, I don't remember how I got contacted through Hotel McCoy, but through that relationship, I met Miss Ashley, and we partnered up and we created the first Black Renaissance event, which, to be honest with you, I thought no one was going to show up, because again, throughout the whole time in my experience at Tucson, I didn't see any Black people, nor did I see anyone championing these amazing artists that I stumbled upon. So the first event happened and it was packed. I was like, whoa. And then the second event happened and I was like, oh, no one's going to show up. And that was packed. And then that's when the newscasters started coming, because they themselves started realizing how much amazing talent we have inside Tucson in the Black community. And then after that, it kept going and going. And so it kind of evolved into now this collective where we use tech and talent to highlight Black creatives. And so we've done, last Black History Month, we did events throughout the state of Arizona, up in Phoenix, and of course here in Tucson. The challenges I face is that I'm having to continue to, I'm having to kind of go through kind of the middle people in order to meet these amazing Black creatives. And, even through social media, I'm still having to go through maybe 4 or 5 accounts in order to find these amazing creatives. But the benefit of all that is that through that, these people who are in the middle that are showing me these Black creatives, they themselves are becoming, fans and championing all these creatives that I'm finding out. So the community is exploding throughout Tucson. So every single event is packed, and we're celebrating and we're recognizing these amazing these creatives, and making sure that they're not just highlighted, but they're thriving. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Sean Louis. We're gonna move over to Akil.
Yes. So, my business story is pretty much rooted in my love for health and fitness. I've worked in marketing pretty much all of my professional career, and I think that was a natural progression. I think, me getting to this point where I was working for myself was more so of this idea of creating a life of which I had more control of what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I think that, my experience as far as struggles are concerned, working in professional industries, I felt as though my input, my work ethic wasn't necessarily valued the same way that some of my counterparts were. And so that was kind of like that natural progression to where I realized that I wanted to take my skill sets and really just invest in my own business. And so that happened with the marketing, but, I had the gym and the martial arts school before I actually started working and branched out on my own with the marketing company. And that really, my parents put me in martial arts when I was very young. So it's something that I did when I was 6 years old. I always had a vision of having my own gym and my own school. I think I've always had a spirit of an entrepreneur. And it's just been a perfect storm in a lot of ways. I think the struggle is what's fueled the success. And, there's obviously still a lot of barriers, that still need to be, addressed. But, I think in Tucson, I've had, from a community standpoint, a lot of my successes are with the community that have supported my businesses, and now being a part of, Black Friday, that's actually just increased. And I'm not extremely visible, out in the community. I use marketing, but a lot of my connections are just with the people that I've met through the years. And so, that's been a good success, that I have this community of people that have supported both of my businesses. And they haven't done so because I'm a Black business owner, but they've done so because we share the same values, and frankly, because they know that I do good quality work. So, what I'd like to see from this experience, I will personally say, since I've been involved with the Black Friday movement, there have been a lot of opportunities, and to be able to work with other Black professionals has been, in a sense, life-changing. It's kind of the first time for me, you know, even being in Phoenix before, you know, I've been in Tucson for about 10 years. You know, the Black population in Phoenix is a lot bigger now than it was before I came here, but it's still very different. So to be on a panel like this, working with other Black business owners, it's not something that's ever happened for me in all the time that I've been living in Arizona. So that's obviously very special to me. So, you know, I'd like to keep that momentum going. I'd like to, the fact that I've been able to, you know, I've had my martial arts school for about 7 years in a brick and mortar location. I've been teaching in Tucson for 10 years. I've had the marketing business now going for about 4 years or so. And so I'd like to be able to use my business or the marketing skills to help other, not only Black small businesses, but, you know, small businesses in the community, but absolutely to be able to help other Black small businesses, you know, increase their revenue, get their businesses out. I had no idea. Like I said, I've been here for 10 years. I had no idea that there were 200 plus Black owned businesses, you know, a hotel, a brewery, you know, I mean, the list goes on. So, you know, I would say from a business standpoint, you know, my eyes have been opened a lot, and I feel a lot more optimistic, even in the midst of everything that's going on with COVID. I'm extremely optimistic about the future of Black business owners in Tucson specifically, but you know, outside of Tucson, I think that this is going to be a good pivot point and a good turning point. And so I'm happy to be involved in it, and you know, to push it forward.
Thank you, Akil. Tina Marie, you want to go next?
Yeah. So the birth story, I guess, for my coaching business is I've been in the restaurant industry for like 17 plus years, almost equivalent experience in bookkeeping and accounting. And so I decided to become a business coach, mainly working with people's finances, because as a bookkeeper, I saw so many business owners make so many bad mistakes and end up robbing Peter to pay Paul, not really thinking about their employees. And so my whole passion of starting business coaching was I wanted to keep more businesses open, and I wanted to keep more jobs open and create more jobs for these business owners. Now it's kind of really grown to learn about the mindset being a business owner, because there's a huge shift to do that and the business strategy behind that. And I never really saw, and this is my personal experience, if I had a market here in Tucson, I just automatically went online. So, you know, I reach people around the nation and even across the pond. And the catering company really start because I'm a giant foodie. And if you're one of my closest friends, we usually have these parties at my house and everyone's like, you need to open up a restaurant or you need to start doing this. But I was really focusing on the coaching, and I was like, let's start a catering company. And so that's kind of the birth of the catering company, is really my way of being creative and showing my love. That's how I see food is. And I think that's really about my culture, my background too. Food brings people together. So that's where I get to show my talents and creativeness there. The biggest struggle I've really seen, the coaching business, not so much, but the catering, COVID really hit me hard. If no one's having events or going out to see each other, then how can we grow it? And this year was really the year we were going to take it to the next level and start hiring staff and really get into a commercial kitchen full time. But with COVID, I really haven't had the chance. And so what I've really seen in the community as a struggle for Black businesses, 3 years ago, I really wanted to start a Black Chamber of Commerce. I even talked to Monique about being part of it and like being the president. We were going to do all this. But with my research, I couldn't find any other Black businesses. And the few people who I actually spoke to that were interested gave me kind of, I'm not going to say negative advice, but they just gave me a warning saying that, you know, the people that are here don't really want to be known as a Black owned business. And people stay in their own little pockets. It was almost as if there's cliques within the community. And so when I did my research of the census, I was like, we're the third biggest ethnic group in Tucson. Where are we hiding? So to hear that we have over 200 businesses is exciting, but my first thought was, where are we hiding and why are we hiding? And so I hope with this change is we can create a community that supports each other and that we don't feel like we have to hide. And so we can grow in that sense.
Thank you, Tina Marie. We're going to go to Justin. Welcome, Justin. Justin, you have to introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and what you hope to get from this conversation.
All right. Well, I will say this has been such a special event. Just seeing all your beautiful black faces on this screen, it really does my heart a good. My name is Justin Lloyd. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, originally, and I went to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And I came out here and I had a dream of management with Walmart, right? Oh, I'm going to be this Walmart guy. It turns out that through my labors with sales with Art Institute of Tucson, Brookline College, Intuit, Dun and Bradstreet, here I am, I'm working with the Arizona Coalition for Change. And when I see everyone that's here right now, I can almost say I've seen everybody on the screen in person. I know I've seen Brother Hadim. He was down there getting some catfish from Matt Kearney. I remember that, brother. We got Shun Louie. I seen him down there doing this thing at the hotel doing that. I seen Sam Brandon Hush. I also do security there, right? So I'm a big guy, 6'7", and I don't play no games. Miss Tina Marie, I've seen you out there in the field. Miss Keneshia, we met indirectly. And then Miss Ashley, we've met 1 or 2 times. And Miss Desiree Cook, awesome job. If you ever want to see what she's doing, you go to her page and she's always letting it up. I said, you gonna beat me. I don't know who's doing better. But, you know, just a little bit about me. I got here with State Representative Reginald Bolding and Senator Muhammad, and they came down here in the city of Tucson. At that time, I did volunteer work with CHISPA. I was doing things through Mega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We do a mandated project called the voter registration. So I began to do voter registration, and then CHISPA was like, you know what, you do a great job. How about coming on staff with us? This happened a year ago in June, and I saw an ad, and it's crazy how you can get everything about Facebook. And I'm gonna talk about what Miss Ashley has done and her crew and Miss Keneshia and why it's important about what we just got finished seeing within this whole thing with COVID and even with the midst of the turmoil we're going through. Is that I saw Reginald Bolding, they posted it, and I said, hey man, I gotta go for this position. Keep in mind, this is the only Arizona Coalition for Change is a 501(c) nonpartisan group that it's Black-led. It's a Black-led organization. And when I saw that, I lit up. Now, I've heard everyone, and I know that we mentally have all been through a blow with the DAV, the Bro Bramo. We've been through this thing, right? Even the Black Chamber of Commerce is something I'm working to do too, is Ms. Tina. So all the things I could say is, many hands make light work. Let's put our hands together collectively and let's get it done. So what happens is Reggie was like, you know what, you know all these places. I was like, yeah, you need to go talk to Pastor Lewis. You need to go talk to, you know, talk to Iron Man. You need to go talk to Sam. But you talk to all these people. They got the NAACP Shrees over there. He's like, you know what, then brother, then you need to be the lead for change. So I applaud every last one of the individuals on this call. And there's so many more that I wish I could name that could have been made this call, but it's supporting us. Thank you for being the outlets and the channels for celebration about who we are. And one more day, we're going to talk about Juneteenth, right? And this is a particular situation with us right now. It's where we're thriving. And thanks to Black Friday for being able to list each and every last one of those brothers and sisters who have special gifts and talents. Right now, we can celebrate and we are being recognized. So with that all said, I want to say thank you on the behalf of that. A little bit, I know we talked about census, but let's make sure we get out there and talk about 10 minutes for 10 years. It's only going to take you 10 minutes to go out there and actually do it. It's not even that hard. I can pull it up right now. Black Census 2020. It ain't that hard, but Sister Ashley, we out here working. I know they're going to do it. I know they're going to do it. I know they're going to do it. It's census, Black Census 2020. So with that, we also need to make sure we get out there and vote. Everything right now is on the turning point on the ideal that we have their attention now. Let's make sure we don't waste their time. So we make sure that what we do is we influence every last channel that we can touch. If you can touch their minds, you can touch their hearts. And I believe in love. So let us operate in that way, in that spirit, but let's also be strategic in how we customer approach it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Yes, ma'am.
Sam, you're the last one up, friend.
Thank you. Three things I guess I'll touch on. I'm involved in a lot of stuff, but for this call, number one is Wildcat Auto Glass. It was started by me and my cousin 6 years ago. We're in Arizona. There's a lot of rocks, and almost everybody has insurance coverage. So we were like, we've been talking for since we were kids. We've talked about having a business together, and we spent 4.5 years putting our own money in and borrowing money and paying it back, and finally, about 1.5 years ago, we got debt-free as a business. Last year, we turned a profit. This year, we turned a little bit bigger profit. And we just had our best quarter ever, first quarter. It's amazing. And that's with the help of a lot of people. Shout out Mind Your Black Business, Andre, and rest in peace to Veronica, and just a lot of people who've helped us along the way. Clarence Boykins and the Black Chamber is sort of where we got our start, where our first conversations happened. So, we stand on the shoulders of a lot of people, but Wildcat Auto Glass is going well now. Family business. My auntie answers the phones. My little cousin processes the jobs. It's beautiful. And we just hired a young brother to be our second sales guy. So Wildcat Auto Glass is good. I'm excited about it. My newest venture is Home Shalom Sober Living Homes. I have an older sister who dealt with opioid addiction for almost a decade, and according to her doctor, shouldn't even be alive, but she's alive. She's made it. She's thriving. And, so I have a passion for helping people in recovery. So we open a men's recovery home. We try to do things a little bit different. We have counseling every week. We have a doctor who comes on and talks to people about their medical issues every week. Right now, it's all on Zoom. And, just give people who are coming out of recovery, really aren't ready to jump back into society themselves. A lot of what we're doing with the tiny homes with Desiree, people that need that transition space, and they need a little bit more dipping into the funds of knowledge that we all have, that we can help them get back on their feet and be successful. So I'm really excited about that right now. And third is just Hush Social Club. Hush, we were talking about the bro. Hush was born out of the destruction of the bro. We all got together, some of us, and we're like, we can't not have a spot that's ours. So for the last couple years, we've been renting, and we just bought a spot. So we have our own building now, because the bro rented for like 50 years. And when the dude was ready to go, there goes the bro. And so we learned from that. And we hope by July 11th, we'll be having a grand opening. You guys will see that on social media. Right now, we're inside painting and moving stuff and decorating and just trying to get the new spot looking as dope as the old spot looked. So Hush is it's going to be a hub. We're going to be looking for business members. You can advertise at the spot and just have something that's brick and mortar that belongs to us. So if you've ever been to Hush, you know what we're about. And if you haven't, look forward to July. Look forward to seeing y'all in the building. And then I guess I said three things, but my final thing is just, I'm on the Urban League board. The Urban League is in a big revitalization mode right now. Basically destroyed to rebuild. We had to break everything down so we can build it back up. And there is a community economic development committee. One of the things we're looking at is same thing you saying, Tina, same thing Justin's saying. It's so great that all these conversations are happening everywhere. How do we get the chamber or something like the chamber back? And we have all these everyone has these different lists of Black businesses. And then when you put them all together, you're right. It's the same thing that the Black Chamber used to have, which is like over 200 Black businesses. We just got to organize, y'all. That's it. So thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, guys. I learned so much about everyone that I've met all you guys individually, but now I'm glad that we're all here together. So if you're just joining us, we're gonna open up and have a full discussion. These are all these beautiful Black business owners throughout Tucson and Sierra Vista. And we're just having a discussion about what's going on, the struggles we're having, how we can change that, how we can bring our community together now more than ever. And I believe that the change starts within. So at Startup Tucson, we are working within. to make change on the outside. And for us to be able to make that change on the outside, we have to get it right within. But I also feel like as a community, we need to talk about the changes that we want to see on the outside that we can also bring in. So my first question is, what do you feel that's missing within the community and the ecosystem of Tucson, as well as what do you feel that's missing within our community? And so I'm not going to call any names. I'm just going to open it up and let's just chat.
I feel like we just don't know each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all just found each other. Our community be the strongest community inside Tucson. You know, we like look at us now. We're all united under the same thought of like we need to make Black businesses better. If we all just figure it out, we can connect each other. I think we'd be on top. It'd be the greatest thing ever. That's all I say. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
I love that. For me, I look to when I do so much in Tucson because I don't have this in Sierra Vista. So it's been a balancing act, being here and kind of being the person and the responsibility and the burden of that. So I have to go out. I have to seek a community of change makers, of people that are ready to just like, what are we going to do and let's get it done? Because for me, that's how I stay sharp. So thinking about how that question applies to my physical community where I am, what I would like to see, what's missing is the mindset of creating change. Like you have to first recognize that even in your little piece of the planet, you can create something that can spark something else and that can turn into the change that we want to see in the world. And then at the same time, I love what Sean Louis said, like just being aware of who's here. I so resonated with what Tina Marie said when she was starting and, kind of looking for those businesses to connect with, because I dealt with that. There's a running joke in my family where we don't see the Black people in Sierra Vista until the MLK thing at the park. Like that's when, and we get out there and everybody is hugging like this, like it's a family reunion because we have not seen each other in a year. And that, I would love to see that change. I would love to see, and I think with the whole COVID situation and kind of forcing us to have conversations in different ways, do this. It removes those barriers of, I don't have time, I don't have gas in my car, I don't have this, I don't have that. Like all we need now is internet. And we can start creating something. So yeah, that's what I would love to see. That's for me, what is missing on the small scale and on the larger scale of being a business owner here.
So I moved here 3 years ago and I knew no one. The first person I met in business was Tina Marie, because Tina Marie hosted a coffee workshop. And I went, luckily it was like 5 minutes down the road because I live on the north. So anything farther than that, it wasn't happening. And I went down there and she was the first person I met. And then through some other friends, I met Ashley, but I didn't know anybody here, didn't know anybody in the community. I knew it was 2.5% African-American people. But again, I live on the north, so I am the only percent, right? So it was like nobody in that section of the world. And then some guy asked me, have you ever been to the Juneteenth? And I said, we don't have that in Tucson. He said, yes. I said, but where? I've Googled and we don't have any of that in Tucson. And he said, yes, we do. And then I started doing research and I found little stuff. But then when I started with Startup Tucson, even as a business owner, like I still had to meet people. I wanted to meet more people that looked like me. I wanted to meet more people that were doing things in the community. I have grown up in LA, in Orange County, and so I'm giving you both sides of this, but I wanted to see some Black faces, and I met Ashley through a friend, who then told me about Sean Louis, and then through like everything else, I've kind of met everybody else. So I feel like, yes, we're all spread out, and Tucson is huge, but if we had just that one thing that brought us together, whether it's business or Sunday supper or something that's very consistent that we are doing, we can really uplift each other. And Sean Louis, Black History Month, amazing. I normally go to LA and I made sure I was here for 2 weekends but then I went to LA for the other two. But I made sure I was here to show up, to be a part of what was going on here, and you're doing a phenomenal job.
I don't take any credit, because I mean, we have amazing Black creatives. All I do is I just meet them. That's it, and I just show them to you guys. They're absolutely amazing. So take no credit. I take 100% no credit, but they are the best for sure.
I'd like to. Oh, sorry, Akil. Go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think what Monique was saying, as far as just like a mindset, you know, of really wanting to get things done. You know, I feel like I've kept my head down and really just tried to build my businesses, but I'm not always actively going out. You know, I take advantage, or I look for the correct opportunities that are going to be good for me in business. But I look back at my earlier successes in, you know, professionally, and honestly, they were all allotted to me by other Black people who were decision makers within organizations. You know, my first marketing role, I got it because the temp position, and I went in for the interview, and it just so happened that the woman who was managing the department was a Black woman. And so that's how I got my first marketing role, how I helped pay for college. And so if she hadn't been in that role, I may not be sitting here right now. And I have multiple other examples, even being in Arizona, where the opportunity for me to be in a management position or to get a job was from another Black person giving it to me or allotting me that opportunity. To be fair, I've also had lots of my clients and really big projects that I've gotten through allies who are not, you know, Black people. They're white people who have, you know, again, hired me, or, you know, I've worked with on other projects and things of that nature. So for me, I know that I want to find every opportunity to try to empower young people who are eager and have a mindset of business and entrepreneurship, and take all of those opportunities. And I mention that only because we're here having this conversation right now, but sometimes we aren't always the best at picking one another up and, you know, holding one another up. I mean, meeting Ashley, and same thing, same kind of thing. I know other people that know both Sean Louis and Ashley, and they have been telling me for months, you need to meet these people, you need to meet these people. And then as soon as I met them, both of them actually have done everything that they can to help me in any way, shape, or form without me never asking for anything back. That hasn't always been necessarily the experience that I've had working with Black professionals in Arizona, or in general, outside of in a professional setting. So that's a focus for me, is to make sure that I can help young people help create as many opportunities and to continue to have these kinds of positive conversations, and not to let it just fade out. You know, I got involved with the Black Friday project, and pretty much every single day since I've gotten involved in that project, I have tried to use that app, and I go out and I find a Black business and support it, whether it be buying a gift card or going down there and picking up some food. Even if I'm not hungry, I pick it up, I take it home, and I eat it later. So I just want to make sure that we don't, you know, this is not something that passes in a month or 2 months or 6 months, that it becomes a way of life that we continue to do and continue to support one another in the community.
If I could piggyback on what Akil is saying about resilience, and that this is not a trend for now, that this is what we will be moving into the future. And the support of our community is what we need, our whole community. I know, living here now for 12 years, I've been very supportive to a number of organizations and groups that I didn't necessarily identify with, but I knew and believed in their mission, and so I supported. And if we have 2.5% of African-American Black people here, then it should be a return of that support that we have been giving for a number of years, and that can be done continually. And so that's what I'm looking to, is that this is a wake-up call, that we can continue even past this month, even past this year, even past the next decade, in supporting these Black businesses here locally. Also, we need to talk about investment, capital investment, and the thresholds for that. I know that we have leading industries in biotech and AI, and, you know, things that are really scalable as they would say in the entrepreneur world, but we need some love towards our creatives, to our mom and pops that are also supplying and being industry leaders in their own. And so that's what I'm looking for into our community, and Tucson can make a mark nationally and really be known for uplifting their Black and BIPOC community.
Absolutely.
Hey, you want to go ahead, Justin? You're mute.
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead. I mean, wow, she just hit it right there on the head. Like I said, me being from Memphis, this like for me, it's like finding our people. Where can we find our people, right? I think 9 times out of 10, it's kind of really easy when you think about it, but some people don't put that effort into it. Like I've been trying to find my people for 2 years. You ain't that good. You must not be looking in the right place. It really boils down to it. It's amazing how that we can go online and we can find the best pasta. Let's say best pasta in Tucson, and somebody say, "Well, then you need to go to Oregano's on Speedway." Right? But are you thinking about your culture? Right? It's about making that connection. About when we think about it, we've always had the power. We just need to steamroll it all together. And to my going back to what I believe, what we can do to make better or wish could be better is many hands make light work. That's going to be the key to everything, right? I remember my mom saying it takes a village. And that's what we are. We're a village here in the city of Tucson. And if we think about it, we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different genres, and the way of life what we've been able to see. Me being from Memphis, it was no doubt that was the first thing I was going to do is find my people. Relentlessly, I'm going to find them. If I go to a barbershop, whether I go to Mr. Al's, whether I go Mount Lemmon, or if I go to University of Arizona, I see Tanisha Johnson, I'm going to find my people. We have to open our mouths and start being more projective about who we are. And teach our kids to be proud about who we are. So many times in the city of Tucson that you try to give a brother a heads up, and they look at you like, you wasn't talking to me.
Come on.
Or you see your sister. How you doing there, sister? Brother, what we got to stop that. Starts with our attitudes and being able to want to reach out to and find out about who we are. I think that's the most important part, whether we're talking to TSUD, get to Jimmy Hart. Let's talk to these people and let's educate people about who we are and how really great we are. The better platforms and allies we get, the better. Miss Keneshia, applaud you for doing what you're doing to start up Tucson. Miss Ashley, you're doing an excellent job. Miss Desiree, you already know you doing you.
Thank you.
Miss Tina, good seeing you. Mr. Brother Kill, always a pleasure to see you out here. Miss Monique, yes, guess what? Sierra Vistas. I'm just kidding. But it is something else to be able to see. And I saw the work that you guys were able to do with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated and everybody at that march. You guys have a population down there because of the military, right? Mr. Sean Louis, always excellent. You always do a good job of showcasing everybody with the Black History Month. That was really great. Brother Sam Brown, we know what you do. We got to, everybody in essence got to be able to reach out and give a helping hand. I actually do security sometimes over at the Hush. You know why I do it? Not because I need money. I don't need money, but I want us to thrive. We have to be in this together, and that's the only way we're really going to be able to get to a point where we lift each other, lift every voice and sing. These are just not words. These are a way of life. That's how we get out of where we came from.
Right.
See, Harriet had this ideal. I'm not listening to anybody because I have my own mind to create. I have a mind and vision for my family to be free. A free enterprise, and all of us being business owners, we know what it is to be free. Don't ever go tell a child they got to just go to school to be free. School's great, but it ain't the only way. I actually sell life insurance for people helping people. Something that we don't do, passing down the generational wealth. Think about it. Our health equals wealth. That means longevity. So let's start thinking about each other's longevity. If I go, hey, I say Miss Desiree's doing one thing. Or if I say we have to start supporting one another. And I talked to Mr. Larry. Larry, I believe his name is Hargrove. He said one thing that we do in the city of Tucson, and I saw this on the thread of being black in Tucson, the one thing we there should do, instead of collaborate, we try to compete.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that? I was like, dang. That's how sometimes we really think in the city of Tucson.
Yeah.
But I love those platforms because now we can get feedback on what do you mean by compete? Yes, we know about the bank out there in LA. I got my card too. You know what I mean? I love what they do. Because what they do is they're doing empowerment, right? All we talking about is what can we actually do? The other card must be another, because I got this in here. But long story short, I'm going to do it because I know our people running it. And when we really get together on one accord, can't nobody stop us. But
Thank you, Justin.
I'll just add my quick 2 cents. I don't
No, you-
Someone told me you should never say your 2 cents. You belittle what you're going to say before you say it. I'm going to say my piece. So thank you, Justin. I think mentality number one,
Yeah.
we got to stop the anti-Tucson mentality. I'm second generation African-American from Tucson. I'm from Sugar Hill. I know a lot of people aren't from here, but I'm proud to be from here. And when I go anywhere I go in the country, I'm proud to say I'm from Tucson. I don't ever put my head down or, really suck. So I think just the way we talk about our city has to change. And I'm always push that you're here. And I don't, that's great where you come from, but right now you're here. So
Right.
this is becoming a part of you and part of your story. So you belittle Tucson, you belittling yourself and our community. So let's try to speak positively about our community, because that'll bring light and joy and business to our community. Number two, we gotta, someone said this earlier, but we gotta buy black. Anytime I run into a brother, sister, oh yeah, I just got my windshield replaced by Safe Light. I feel a kind of way. Like, why you call Safe Light? Safe Light's not donating money for black kids that have scholarships like Wildcat is. Safe Light isn't promoting mentoring programs like Wildcat is for black kids. I mean, give money to the organizations that believe in the things that you believe in. So put your money to the businesses that have those same beliefs and ideals. And so I think that's important that we, and Justin, you said it, you got to work harder. You might have to pay a couple extra dollars to support a black business, but what's that couple of dollars worth, as Justin said, to the longevity and strength of our community. So I think just positive mentality, buying black, and number three, my biggest thing is organization. And a couple of y'all touched on this. This is like the fourth conversation I've been in this month about this same topic with different groups of people. That's how disorganized we are. We got to get organized, y'all. Once we get organized, it's over with. It's a wrap.
To add to that, we got to show up, because
Right.
I've been networking for years. 85% of my network is the restaurant industry, but when I've gone to networking events, I only see one other Black person there. Like, we need to, like, Tucson is a relationship oriented place. That's how you're going to make your money. And so if I had a crack in my windshield, I wouldn't have known to buy from you because I didn't know about your business. We never met, you know what I mean? And so we need to like start mixing up outside of our comfort zones. And we need to start showing up at all these different events, not just for ourselves, but for each other, because yeah, it's not that hard to find us, but we're hiding. So it is a little difficult to find us. And so that's why we're all disorganized. We're having all these separate conversations and we don't know about each other. And that's why we're having something like this, is so we can come together and actually get organized, because we can't expect Tucson as a city as a whole to show up for us if we're not going to show up for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I do hide in my home. I hide in my house. I did not network, so thank you for calling me out. But what I do have to say is, when I interviewed for Startup Tucson, one of the biggest things they started with was, how are we going to bring new faces into our community? And how are we going to reach out and reach people that we don't know? And so my whole goal has always been to reach new people. But I am an introvert working on the extrovert side of things. So I am working to bring together other people within Startup Tucson, because for us, the whole diverse plan of Startup Tucson, like this is amazing. This for me, and I've reached out to people to have them be mentors and speakers, and some of you guys have shown up and been amazing, and some people have just been like, nah, I ain't doing it. So, and I also feel like as a community, we can't help each other if we're not trying to show up to get help, or if somebody reaches out, then either say no or just like get on the phone or something like that. So it brings me to the resources question. Ashley touched on funding and money like that, because we don't have investors here in Tucson that strictly go into Black investment, Black capital. But we have some amazing angel investors, investment companies, we have CIC and things like that. And I really want you guys to speak to this community, because some of them are on Facebook, and let them know what we need and what we're missing and what resources that we can pull together. Because at the end of this call, we're gonna leave this call feeling however we're gonna feel. But when I leave this call, our team plans to put together some kind of plan so we can take all of this and take action and not just let this sit here on this call today. And that's my promise to you guys. We can't do everything at Startup Tucson because we're a 4-woman team. We're powerful, but we can't do everything. But we do plan to reach out to other people in the community and make things happen. So I need you to tell me what you need and the resources and investment and what we're missing, or how you didn't find it, or did you know it was there? All of those things.
So for me, it's kind of, I don't know what I don't know. You know, like I said, I've been here for 10 years, and there, you know, probably about 5 years ago, around the time, I forget what Startup Tucson was called before, but there were a couple of other organizations very similar to Startup Tucson that were doing and promoting certain kinds of networking events for small businesses and startups. And I think it was a focus of trying to attract young talent and keeping them in Tucson. And I spent a lot of time in those networking events. Personally, for whatever reason, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities that came out of them for me. And so I stopped doing that. And I just, like I said, I put my head down and I focused my energy on strictly just trying to build my businesses. But I've seen the work that Ashley has done and the response. So we have the pandemic, right? We've got COVID, and then we've got everything that's happening as a result of George Floyd. And so we have all of these government and larger corporations responding in these kinds of ways. So, you know, the amount of media that I've seen directed towards Black business in the last month, I've never seen in my lifetime living in Arizona, right? And so, again, it goes back to that thing of what I don't know what I don't know. So I'm sure there's lots of resources that could be being allocated to, you know, our efforts that just hasn't been done before. And so I don't know if this is a reactive thing that's happening now just because of George Floyd, or, you know, we don't have enough people in the seats and having conversations with the people, those angel investors that have access to that capital, who can get it into the hands of people that need it. But I'd love to know what that is. You know, I don't know. I mean, if we take Startup Tucson, for example, and all of the startup processes that you run through with your incubators, and who are the decision makers that decide what startup gets those monies, right? Or how you put people in certain positions or in the rooms with certain people, and whether or not those decisions have been influenced by race or, you know, relationship, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd like for people like you you're at the table with some of those people, and Ashley, who's obviously been doing that work, because I've seen it, like I said, for the first time since I've been here. And even when I lived in Phoenix, I never saw anything like that. So again, I don't know what I don't know, but I'd love to see more of it on a consistent basis.
That is my whole goal. I don't know if this is happening because of what happened with George Floyd. I can only tell you what I'm doing now. I can tell you that I have been working and trying to build something, and then COVID, and I came to my house and hid. Like most people, what we do at Startup Tucson is we do take businesses from beginning to end. Well, beginning to when you go into an incubator. We don't do funding and things through Startup Tucson, but we do try to get you in the spaces that you need to be in. I've heard over and over throughout my business life, if you are not invited to a table, you build your own. And I have built a table, and this is a table for you guys, and I plan to take you guys to the table with me. This is not just me. This is us as a group going to the table with what we need and what we expect to see here in Tucson and what changes we need to happen here in Tucson, whether it's this month or 6 months from now. We can't stop this process today or tomorrow or next month. This has to keep going. I've been in Tucson for almost 3 years. I don't think I'm going nowhere. So we're going to keep this fight together and just keep going forward.
I want to say, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
You know, I've been guilty of, in the past, coming from New York in a bigger city, you know, it's always a trust. You don't trust everybody. And, you know, that was been embedded in me. And so, you know, coming to Tucson, you know, I own Tucson now. I'm not from here, but I love Tucson. So many good things have been birthed here in Tucson. And so coming along and meeting Ashley, I can't even tell you how many African-American supporters have come out the woodwork that I didn't even personally know, in whether it's donating, putting the spotlight on the work that, excuse me, that IMU 360 has done. Even Sam could tell you, you know, even the project with the tiny homes, kind of everybody was hand selected, all African-American, because I wanted it, you know, for us to all reap that reward. But I struggled myself in saying, okay, I want to pick this person because they have all something to add to the table. You add those spices and stir it up. You got some good stuff. But I think, you know, we have to get over the barrier of trust and unity and feel that, you know, and unite. And again, I'm just being really, you know, transparent, you know, are they going to get me and things like that. And we do have that, oppressed mindset of our own people. And I really, you know, have seen a lot of non-melanin people that have been supportive, but it is refreshing to see so many more of our people uniting for the fight. And, you know, what we're all fighting for is for a better you and a better community. So I think we have to get over that fear of supporting each other.
I would also like to get access to good legal representation, not for anything criminal per se, but I think that that's important for people who need that. And I have a couple of Black attorney friends, and there's actually a family here who they own a law firm, but in the business sense, you know, like I learned after signing my first commercial lease that the lease was kind of structured in a way that wasn't as common, you know, that it could have been structured a lot better in a way that I could have saved a lot more money. And you don't, you know, when you're first starting a business and you're doing those kinds of things, you may not know to do that. But I think there are a lot of things that I think that would help small businesses when they're going through those first steps, like legal representation, you know, just basic things, how to set up certain forms, accounting, and all of those things. I don't know if there's a single place right now for example, for these 200 Black businesses that are on Black's Friday who may still be starting out, who need help. So that way things will be a little bit more easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. I would say one, you're talking to a lawyer right there in front of you, right there, Sam Brown. So you know the Salters. You know Salters always looking out.
Okay.
Looking out since Bro Brummer, brother. So you know, Salters, I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Justin, I'm just kidding.
It's a different kind of.
Just joking, y'all. Y'all need to have a sense of humor.
It is hilarious to be.
Yeah, so Brother Salters, you got Brother Samuel Brown. We have so many resources here, and it's just like anything else. Use that ingenuity that you did before when you left wherever came from. Like Sister Desiree said, I was in NYC. You know what I mean? I stayed in New York. I lived in LA. I'm from Memphis, so I'm dealing with metropolitan cities. So I'll give you guys one too, so everybody knows it. Phoenix is going to be your metro. Tucson is your non-metropolitan, right? We have to act as if We'll go up to Phoenix and we'll go to Lolo's Chicken and Waffle. Look like we was. Oh Lord, I went to Lolo's. Woo. I done went to Lolo's. Listen, we got some places down here. And we talked about if you really want to get the hub. Last night, Ray Murphy got finished doing it in conjunction with Black Friday. That food was good. I actually had me a plate. Had one sent to me. Y'all didn't see me, but I got my plate though. Thank you. But that's the point. You know, we have to go ahead and use those outlets that we know we love and use. I mean, we know we're going to go to Instagram. We know we're going to go to Facebook. We know we're going to go to YouTube. Come on, y'all. We know how to do it. But have pride about who you are. It's in your veins. Where else is it? Use those natural resources that you have. Dr. Colette Sims, God bless her soul.
Thank you, Justin. Akil, we do have a ton
You know what I mean? I don't want to go too long here, but the one thing I'm going here with that Miss Keneshia, she always used to say, she goes, Justin, you know your history. That's
Right. No, and you know what? That's good. I did not know that Sam Brown was an attorney, so that's great to know. And I know the Salters. Christian is looking over something for me right now. But all I'm saying is that, and I've only learned this from obviously going through the process multiple times and trying to start other little businesses and things like that. But I'm just talking about, creating that kind of central repository for resources for people in the Black community, so that they know and they don't have to hit their head on certain kinds of roadblocks as they're going through that process. You know what that's all I was saying.
no, absolutely. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
What I hear from that, and the theme that I hear from everybody, is we want that central repository, and that whatever you hear about the history, whatever you think about the history of the Black Chamber of Tucson, there was a lot of good. And when you moved into Tucson, if you didn't know anybody, you could go to the Urban League or you could go to the Black Chamber. You could say, I need a lawyer, and they'll give you 5 different phone numbers. So that is a key piece that we're missing, is where is that central repository you talked about, Akil? And then Desiree, I just wanted to hit on what you talked about, because I'm going through this with the Dunbar, and it's no secret. We all don't have to agree about everything to work together. There are some things that are above, I don't want to say like less important things, but like killing Black people. We should be able to get on the same page about preventing that. Building economic power, we should get on the same page about preventing. We can ideologically, somebody could be a Republican, somebody could be a Democrat, somebody could be pro-police, anti-police, whatever. But those type of things shouldn't stop us from working together. And so I just want to echo what Desiree is saying. And sometimes it's just personality conflict. I don't like him, so I'm not working with that whole organization. That's just silly. That's one person in your personality conflict. So we got to get above some of that stuff too.
Miss Ashley, I feel like you've been a little quiet.
Y'all, I just appreciate this platform to speak at and to hear other fellow Black business owners speak honestly. I feel like I've been very fortunate to have an opportunity within the last 2 weeks to be very vocal about what's happening economically with Black businesses. And so I am listening in all ears to the Black business owners on this call right now. And I echo everything they're saying. Yes, we need to get together. Yes, we need to put our biases aside to work together for economic empowerment. Yes, we need the proper finances and resources. Yes, we need fellow allies that are looking to support us, not for performative, not to tokenize us, but to truly support us and watch and help us grow. And I want to also say a point on the allies front, and people who are listening in, to ask fellow BIPOC individuals how you can help. Don't tell them what you're going to do for them or tell them what they need to do. You should ask before you tell. And if you're a true ally, you know those steps. And if you're looking to learn more of those steps, Rue Events, we'd be happy to do some consultation and help and discuss how we can grow together in true allyship. And to my fellow Black business owners, it's so good to see you here. And we're moving forward. Let's build this Black Chamber of Commerce together.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
I
man.
don't want to go after you, but I feel like somebody else
I
needs to.
love that. I'm sorry to interrupt. You got me about to stand up. I'm about to do a 360.
Come on.
Come on now. I'm about to, hey, listen. Come on, Miss Ashley. That's right.
Come on.
Let's do it.
I want to, Sophie, if you can start filtering in the questions, and we're going to answer some questions because there's been a lot of questions. Funding is huge, and we covered that topic. Resources and organizations are huge. Where do you feel like, as a city, we're falling through cracks? Where do you feel like there's something that people can kind of step up and do to help, to become an ally? How can we work together, really to fill in the gap in the hole? Anybody?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Everybody's going at one time.
Right. Go ahead.
I just want to just shout out to Ashley and to Blacks Friday because they're doing it. And
Right.
we're getting so many calls like the last few weeks at Wildcat. And, you know, we always, you know, how'd you hear about us? Oh, the list is going around. And that's something for allies, man. It's something that I'm going to take 30 seconds and put a post that I support Black Lives Matter and support Black people. That sounds great. When you need your windshield done, when you need some food, when you need a lawyer, are you going to go that extra mile to support our community through your pocketbook and through your actions and not just your words? That's number one.
I absolutely agree. Wow. So actually with Arizona Coalition for Change, it's the 5013C. We actually have the Arizona Coalition for Change 5013C4, which is our voice, our vote. And as you know, we do have a couple people. We have Zach Kabinski. He's running for sheriff. I went to the meeting. He called me. I was like, "How you get my number, man?" I don't know. I did. I asked him. I said, "You running for sheriff? I don't know you, brother. How did you get my number?" But then we had people that we also work with in our organization. I'm with Arizona Coalition for Change, so we have a term called One Arizona, and that's another 5013C. In the organizations, we have Chispa, we have Me Familiar, we got Lucha over there with Matt Kearney doing mass liberation. He's doing an awesome job over there. I wish this brother was on this call. He's doing a magnificent job. Always have. We have people in different organizations, and now because people have seen it, and it's not even they can say Black people. It's people here in the city of Tucson over at ICE right now off of Oracle Road. We know this. Right? And they're going through what they're going through. We understand that our population is what our population is. But also to every one of us on this call, and I know we can attest to this, going from Raytheon to U of A to Pima, the African Americans that I see, a lot of them are in leadership.
Mm-hmm. And can I just piggyback off of that? You know, because I struggle. I know there's people in position, you know, we do really put the spotlight on the needs of African-American children, but being fair, we talk about all ethnicities, right? Mm-hmm. But where are the African-American philanthropists and investors and, you know, and spreading the money around to really create generational change right here in our own community, in our own backyard, you know? So I'm calling them out. Where you at? You know, to support these different organizations and businesses, and using the platform. I'm a big believer on, you know, all the talk, but let's put things into action, but using the platforms and the stages that you were given to not to, you know, if you lose a friend or a family member, okay, but let's be vocal because this is the only way we're going to be able to keep this thing together and keep it growing for years to come. And so that's what I really want to start seeing, some people really stepping up and saying, I believe in what you do, or, you know, my heartstrings is pulled for Arizona Coalition for Change or Tucson Urban League or IMU 360. And, you know, let's start generating some funds rather than it being more of the corporate type nonprofit organizations where you really don't know where the dollars are going, or, you know, out of a dollar, you know, the organization is getting a penny. So I really want to start having dialogues like that and seeing where in supporting your community.
I agree. I totally agree. We need to be up. You hit it on the point. I ain't nothing to say.
That brings me to my first question, Desiree. And this is for the group. Frank Ford, who is a friend of mine from San Francisco, he says, what about starting financial associations? Money is power, forming investment clubs or small community banks. Is that the next step?
100%.
Yeah.
Can I say something really quick? And I gotta say this.
Come on, Justin.
I hate to be so technical in this thing, but since we're talking about it, financial services, that's what we do with people helping people. At 4500 East Speedway, I gotta say this as an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner, and guess what? I did get a chance to speak to Dr. Sims about Left Legacy. See, that was the thing that really got me really going. She said, Justin, I know you're doing this thing with PHP. Let me learn a little bit more about that. Financial wealth, clubs, just like if somebody invites you out, don't be so closed-minded. I'm not gonna try to sell you. You need it anyways. I don't need to do anything. You need to just show up. Get the information so you can take it back. If anybody watched Malcolm X, one thing Malcolm X said, hey, listen, I came here for what? The information, the knowledge. And then he took it back to who? His people. Stop thinking everybody trying to benefit off of you. Stop thinking everybody gonna give you a deal. No, sister, brother, it's not that way.
Right.
You don't do that when you go into dealers. Hey, let me get a deal real quick. They will tell you, hey, listen, Mr. Lloyd, we're not doing no deals today. Plus the codes in here don't fit you. You 16. It just ain't no time for you today. So let's respect one another as well, business and our crafts and what we do. That we all come in with good intent. I trust that everyone they believe in what we're doing as far as the service of what we do and believe. Every last one of us, I see it on this call, have been called to do something particularly special to do. Mm-hmm. And let's be respectful of one another and what we do. Always just give a lending ear. It can be more than anything that one can even desire to be. Just a lending ear. I like the financial services.
And just to piggyback on the back of that, and that's only because it's something that I feel like for myself, a process I had to go through with being a business owner is that, well, for one, you want to be able to help out your friends and charge less and things like this, but then you also have organizations that try to come to you and hire you, but they don't want to pay you what you're actually worth. And so I had to get to a point where, you know, if they can't pay what it is that the actual services are worth that are the industry standard, then I'm just not going to do it. But I think small businesses in general, if you have a quality product, and people of color need to value their work more and not think that just because they aren't the big companies or just because they don't have as many clients, et cetera, that they have to continue to do work for less money.
Right.
We need to start valuing our time and our work, charging the industry standard for what the services are. And, you know, to be fair, I've done a lot of work for free. I've done a lot of work for less money in order for me to get to the point where I can charge what things should be. But you should only do that for so long. And that is a process. At least it was a process for me. It was a process for me to get to that point where I would just say no, or I'd walk away from money that I actually need in order to position myself to be where I'm supposed to be. So just kind of piggybacking on, and I try not to do that to other people of color who have businesses. I don't go to them just trying to get anything for free. You know, I'm going to pay them what it is that they ask for. Even when I'm collaborating and doing certain things where people are like, oh, okay, I'll do this. I want to make sure people feel valued for their time and paid for what it is that they do. And I think that that's important for us to do with one another. But I think it's also a precedent that we need to set in the community and with all the other people that are doing business with us. And also just with the nonprofit, because I work with a lot of nonprofits. You know, I work with a lot of medical and a lot of nonprofit organizations. And then I've also worked with a lot of small businesses who have nonprofits. And the one thing that I see between the two that separates them really is just in, it's really just in the presentation. right? For nonprofits, in order for people to really feel comfortable to where they're, you know, they're subscribing, and every single month they have a $100 check that's going to that nonprofit coming out automatically, really is in you having like a structure, a website, you know, a donation platform that can collect that money. And I feel that that one thing is kind of a disconnect between smaller business nonprofits who are actually going to be using that money appropriately and some of these bigger nonprofit organizations. And so me personally, if there are any nonprofit organizations that are out there with their web presence, if they don't have a donation platform, please reach out to me, because that's something that I'm familiar with, because I do work with some larger local nonprofit organizations. And so I can take some of that experience and kind of insert it into some of your efforts to make sure that at the very least, everything looks really professional. So that way, when whoever is sitting up there with a whole lot of disposable money and they're looking for a meaningful purpose to support, they won't have any reservations when they go to their website and they're typing in that information. So.
We had a couple other questions that I want to get to, and then we're gonna come back around. Everybody jump in as you can. But there was one that, and they're like way up there, I'm scrolling on my phone, one that wanted to know where they can donate to Black businesses. And if that's not something we have now, we need to figure that out soon. He's an angel investor, I believe, and he wants to know how he can donate to Black businesses and businesses of color, because he only wants to donate local in Tucson. Somebody else says, what actions can the city of Tucson take to place a spotlight on undeserved small business owners? Do you feel like there's something that we can do in the community to place a spotlight on? I think we're doing that now, and we just need to keep that momentum going.
We got to keep it going.
We got to keep Ashley in the spotlight to keep it going, but everybody else got to
stop it.
I know, yes.
I'm gonna say one thing really cool.
It is all of us. It is a collective.
Yes.
That list did not start with me. That list started with Michaela and Khalil and Sam Brown and members of the Dunbar, all putting in on that list that we are able now to bring to the forefront. So it ain't me, it's us. So as long as we keep working together, all we can do is build. I had to shout out, y'all. I keep saying me, it ain't me.
Yeah. I was gonna say to the tribute to the people that want to donate. I remember we had this thing called the Night Out with Nonprofits. You guys remember that? Did I see people out there with Night Out with Nonprofits? United Way was out there. They were downtown at the playground. Let's get us a time.
That's
where
what we need.
you want to donate. If you are ready to do it, let's have a table for them. And if people, if they ready to come out there, hey, put your best foot forward and then let them come out and see us. I mean, they can look on our websites and find us. If they want to find you and they're serious about that, they will.
We'll also have a list of everybody on this call, and then we have the link for Black Friday on our website. We'll make sure we're pushing everybody to that, because everybody wants to know who you are. Let me see, there's more questions here. Okay, so this brings us to, and I want to be mindful of everybody's time. It's 5:25, and I said I was only going to hold you to 5:30, but I love you all so much. Our question, and as a company, and it's something we've been talking about, and I talk about with my family as well, is what pledge and commitment are we going to make to us sitting here in the room, and what pledge and commitment can people outside make to help us continue our efforts to change what's going on right now. We can't change the world, but we can change what is happening right here in Tucson. And we can go around the room, and whatever pledge you have in your heart. Who wants to start? Or I can just.
I'll start, because everything that everybody's been saying for the last like 15, 20 minutes has really been what I've been hearing, and what I've been feeling is we have to take more personal responsibility.
Yeah.
I think it's our tendency, like the question about what can the city do? I don't care what the city can do. I don't care. Because if I know that what I have to offer is solving a problem for a group of people, then I, as the leader of my business and as a leader in a collective of leaders, have to take the responsibility to go out and find those people. I love what Akil said about, you know, sometimes you, especially with Black business owners, you come in contact with organizations that don't want to pay you. That's fine. I'm gonna get my money anyway. Like, you're not gonna stop. I think we have to stop thinking that the resources are scarce, because they're not.
Nah.
They are out here for the people that are willing to go after it. Like, we just have to decide that, you know what, I woke up today, I'm gonna bet on me. I'm gonna go out here, do what I need to do, connect with the people that I need to connect with, so we can all eat, because the resources are there. We are in a time now where there are no gatekeepers anymore.
Right.
There are no gatekeepers. There is no person that is holding the keys to the kingdom, and we have to wait to be blessed off to get access to wherever it is that we are trying to get to. All we have to do is decide, and every day recommit to that decision and recognize that I am because we are. If I'm winning, Akil is winning, Sean Louis is winning, Ashley is winning, Tina Marie is winning. Like, that's the mindset that I think this time that we are in right now is pulling out of us. We have to change how we approach this whole thing, because we see other communities do it. We see Asian American.
Oh, she was on a roll.
And very and very directed at how they support each other. And it is, listen, sis, I'm gonna grab your hand, bro. I'm gonna grab your hand. We're gonna do this together. That's what we have to do, and leverage the resources that are available here in this community.
Right.
Like,
right.
if somebody comes to me and says, well, you know, so and so, I wanted to create a contract with them, and they didn't want to pay me to teach their workshop. Okay, listen, let's set up your marketing plan so we can run some Facebook ads and still reach those same people that they were going to pay you one price, and you could charge everybody. Like, there is so much out here for us to get. We just have to decide individually and collectively that we are going to get what we already know. The abundance that is out here is out here for us. And I think if we spend less time, I'll say it this way, spend less time looking for somebody to come into our community and rescue us, and recognize that we are all superheroes and we can rescue ourselves.
You better say it.
Say it.
We will be
Say it. Say it. And that's real.
Monique just took us to church.
So what's the other side? But what's the other side of that argument, though?
What'd you say, Akil?
What's the other side of that argument? Because I also feel the same way. You know, oftentimes when, you know, people are like, well, what can I do? Or, you know, they just want to like cut a check for whatever reason. Now, don't get me wrong. You want to cut a check, you can cut me a check. But I haven't, you know, everything that I've worked hard for.
Right.
You know, like there haven't really been any handouts. You know, for me, it's difficult for me to even ask for help, and definitely not monetary help in that way. You know, I want to start a nonprofit. I will ask for money in that way. So, you know, so I'm 110% about making sure that you want to empower yourself, you know, and go out there and get, because like you said, I do believe that there is an abundance of opportunity. You just have to make that decision. But then there is that other side of the coin. And I see it very much so right now, where it's like people are asking, you know, asking for this help or asking for this permission. And so where do you draw that line in between the two? You know, are they just different sides of the coin that still feed into the same mission?
Well, I kind of feel like the people, to a certain degree, there is room for us to request help, to look for other resources. But I don't think that should be the bulk of how we're building. I think that we have access to what we need if we are just intentional to go and look for those things. So just sitting here listening to everybody talk, and in my mind I'm thinking, okay, so the next time I go to Tucson, I gotta first see what Tina's got coming out of the oven so I could grab something. Then I gotta call Ashley. Then when the windshield gets chipped, I gotta make sure I tell my husband, nope, we going to Tucson to get out. Like that's that, and I think that's the mindset shift that we have to make. There is so much. I started 2 businesses from dust, you know, like nothing, and took just the knowledge that I was walking around with in my head and sold it. And then I sold it again, and then sold it again, and sold it again, and continue to sell it. And I think that we can do the same thing. We can do the same thing as a community. We can show up and say, okay, well, who said they were about to open a new, when Hush Social Lounge opens, when we all there for socially distanced for the grand opening.
Right.
You know, Sam is like, hey y'all, I need this. Can y'all share the thing on social media? Can you do this? Like, there is enough information and expertise and many hands, like Justin's been saying. We can build so much just by starting with what we already have. And then, because this is the thing, this is what we know. Once we put something on, everybody gets on board. So sometimes we have to cultivate that energy in the beginning. We have to let people know, you know what, this is the greatest thing ever. And if you are not on board with Black's Friday, get your life. And if you show up with that energy, then people are like, you know what, I think I do need to be down with this. I think I probably need to be.
What's wrong with my life?
Like, that's we can cultivate it. We can create it. We are passionate, energetic, like hustlers, for lack of a better word. We can get it done, but we just have to be consistent with it. And sometimes that means, you know, reaching out to say, hey, you know what, y'all, I am struggling today. I can't find my motivation. I'm trying to think of something to write about or to do a live broadcast about, and I can't think of anything. Boom, that's where you exercise and you leverage your community, your squad, your village to help you, and we help each other. I think we can do so much. There is a reason all of this attention is on Black businesses and the Black community right now, because our power was always there.
Yeah.
It was always there. I watch brands, I've been watching brands for the last 2 weeks craft their carefully worded statements about supporting Black Lives Matter. And the reason they're doing it is because they know without the support of the Black community, their businesses will cease to exist.
Come on.
So we have it.
Yeah.
We have it. Somebody lied and told us we didn't. We got to get back to, we have to recognize what we have and use it.
Amen.
Amen. That's right. That's right.
Lord, Pastor Lewis, I don't need to go to church Sunday no more, so I'm good.
We gotta stop dimming our light for other people. Other people feel comfortable. We gotta stop dimming our light.
It's Father's Day this weekend. I ain't gotta go to church no more. I went to church right now.
She did that. Listen, for real, for straight motivation for the fight. It's the fight.
Yes. Preach.
Then let me say this. Let me just say we're up against, because, you know, Sam knows this all too well, and maybe even Ashley. You know, when you come up with innovative ideas to shake some stuff up, I feel like, you know, you won't get the support. One, because somebody doesn't want to see you do it. Two, they want to steal your idea. But I do feel that if I was not an African-American woman in Tucson community and wanting to build affordable housing, it would have been done within a day. Money would be oozing out of our ears to be able to get these kids off the street and, more importantly, help them develop as a full adult. So, you know, I was feeling some kind of way and a little angry, because I know what I'm up against. I got to fight harder to make this happen, because there's always a cast of suspicion, I feel like, in the different tables that I have been sitting at, of, well, you know, all these extra questions, because I'm a Black woman with this phenomenal idea to really create change. And so that really was motivation for me, because like I said, I've been getting frustrated. But since all of this has happened, with people being aware of Black lives have mattered all this long, all the time, but now we're seeing other companies coming out and say, you know what, I felt guilty because I've been silent. I want to help your organization. So actually, this has helped generate, and we got to just keep that momentum going with non-melanin people that want to support, as well as our own people, because we now have the world's attention, so to speak. And it's just really important that we cannot remain silent. And whatever your fight is, we got to keep fighting and not allow the world to dim our light, because they're saying, you know, all right, it's over. Yes, Black Lives Matter. No, we have to keep it alive and keep hope alive to the fullest extent.
I'm gonna put my 2 cents in, but I can't follow that. Both Monique and you, Desiree, may not be as good. But what I add to, if our allies actually want to support or people want to pump money, I'm of the mindset: don't just write me a check. I want to see your actions as well. So if you want to support me or my business, awesome. Buy from me, give me referrals, promote me on social media. That's how businesses grow. So treat me like any other business. Share your accolades, write me a review, do all the things, you know, don't just write me a check. But also what I've seen in the past, and what I'd like to see changes, if we put on a fabulous event, because I already see like a festival happening, Monique, I would like to see the rest of the community show up, not just the Black community. Don't be afraid. It's like, oh, that's a Black event, I can't go. Or that's a Black event, that's not for me. I want the community to show up. Put your dollars in there, experience some amazing food, listen to some amazing artists, show up to the events, go watch the movies, you know, about, you know, our history or anything. Just, I want you to show up. Don't just write a check. I want your actions to follow up with that.
Woo.
Absolutely. One thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because I gotta jump on one more call. Juneteenth is tomorrow, y'all. We got the Black Wave 2020. I know y'all see me throwing in that being black in Tucson. Check it out. Pastor Redeem on there. Corey Woods up there in Phoenix. He gonna be on there. Sasha Simmons. Truth Be Told gonna be on there. Sam know about all them folks. Y'all tune in. Y'all support the Black Wave. It's gonna be Black Wave 2020. It's gonna be from 6 to 7:30.
Saturday at Quincy Douglas Center, 5 to 8. It's our mini Juneteenth celebration. If you don't know,
I'll be there too. If you need me to be there, brother.
Please come out Saturday with your mask on, of course.
Right.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Look, hey, hold on. Don't make go turn blackly on you.
Oh, Justin.
Oh, goodness.
I ain't playing with you.
Thank you, Justin. Okay.
Hey, I love every last one of y'all. Y'all be good. I love every one of y'all. I will see all of y'all soon. God bless you. I love all of you all. Arizona Coalition for Change, azc4c.org. Thank you so much. And I'll see all you guys soon.
Thank you,
See you
Justin.
soon, brother.
Thank you, Justin.
I'll see you guys soon.
My brother.
Bye-bye. God bless you.
We're going to come to you, Sam.
That's all right. Let's do it.
How do you feel? What you pledging? What we leaving with? How we rolling out?
Everybody or just me?
Just you. Everybody didn't win. We came to you, and then Louis is next, and then I think Akil's still left too.
I'm so excited. I forgot the question. Can you repeat the question? I'm over here hyped up. Sorry.
How are we leaving this? What are you pledging to do different, whether it's in our community, and what will we like for the outside people to know about what we need them to pledge to do different?
I just pledge to keep working to organize. I keep pledging to keep being open, to always take the extra 30 seconds it takes to go look at Ashley and them's list before I go spend money. To keep like what I just did in the chat. I just thought of 2 new businesses. I don't know if they're on the list yet not, but I was like, let me put this in the chat because they crossed my mind. So when I think of something, I'm gonna remember to send it to Ashley so she can add it. I'm gonna try my best power to build on that, because that is something tangible and real right now, to build into a Black business network that eventually builds into a Black chamber. And I really want to just, and something that was said earlier is capital. I'm a part of a Black male capital group. I was telling Akil about it a little bit in the chat. And just the power of, if you got 200 Black businesses and everybody puts $50 a month, that's $10,000 a month. So then you got 4 businesses you can give a $2,500 grant to help them scale up. We could do that with 4 businesses every month. So just the power of collectivism and, like, you know, just try to put those structures. I'm a good administrator and organizer, so I'm gonna just try to use my skills to put these structures into place so we can take these things from ideas and words to action and reality. So that's
to add to yours, Sam, because I don't think I put my pledge in, is I'm also the COO of Black Girl from Magic, which is an organization that supports women that teach financial literacy. So if we get this chamber put together, I would love to either put financial literacy workshops on, and also any business workshops, any way to help.
We're gonna stop saying if, and we're gonna say when.
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 Gotta start saying
I like that, when.
When.
John Louis, come on with it.
My pledge is to continue to connect Black people to Black people. I think that's just one of my talents, probably my only talent at the moment. So that's what my pledge to do. And to what I would like to see the community outside, outside of the Black community do is to continue to support these amazing Black creatives and Black businesses that are inside Tucson. I mean, we have the top. Some of these businesses can compete at a national level. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of these creatives can compete at a national level. And Tucson needs to recognize and celebrate them to the fullest capacity. So all the newspapers should be talking about it. Every single time a black artist drops an album, they should be talking about it because they're easily the top inside the nation. To continue to celebrate us as a community. That's my promise to you guys.
We love your work, Sean Louis, man. Thank you, man.
Sure.
We're gonna head over to Akil, and then I don't think it's fair for anybody to go after Ashley. I'm very sad that I have to go after Ashley, but we're gonna go over to Akil first.
Right, I guess, my pledge is just to, for me, like I said, I've been trying to do as the best I can to just make sure that I keep supporting Black businesses. So I'm using the website. And so if I'm out and about, I'm using that location to find out what's nearby. And then just anything, like I got some trees that need some cutting. So I'm trying to find a Black, landscaper. So that's a commitment that I'm trying to make to myself. Obviously, working with the Blacks Friday team on the digital side is making sure that I can continue to support some of these small Black businesses and empower them with some digital marketing platforms and skills so that they can expand their businesses and get the phone ringing a little bit more. So that's my commitment. And then just my commitment is just to connect with more Black-owned businesses in the community to just find out where I fit in and how I can best support. My skill set is in the marketing, design, in the digital space, but financial literacy is something that I'm also very interested in. Project management. I'm very much of an action kind of person. I love to talk about ideas, but I hate talking about ideas and not putting them into practice. So if you want to actually execute on something, I'm definitely the kind of person that wants to make those kinds of moves. So yeah, I think that's my commitment. I think, again, I want to say thank you to Ashley for, I told you the other day, I was in a bit of a mood. I had been in a bit of a mood with everything that's been going on. I'm usually very good about compartmentalizing certain things. And it was like a week. It felt like it was a week. And there was a number of things that were happening. I just couldn't shake it. And she called me for our first conversation. And I mean, like, that energy just lifted off of me. I'm serious. It was like a whole week. I was doing my meditations. I'm burning sage. I'm reading the books. I couldn't get anything to shake that energy. And I had, I forget how long we talked. We talked for about 40 minutes, but I left feeling so inspired. And, I'm typically super focused. Like, I love what I do. I love my businesses. And I have to remain hyper-focused in order to keep that moving. But being a part of this part of the movement has it made me feel even more empowered to just be more focused and just continue to try to help other people as well. So again, I keep telling you, I'm so thankful. Even you, Monique, I saw you were on a startup Tucson thing the other day, right?
Yeah, coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I anytime I see it, if I'm doing whatever, I turn it on. Same thing. Like, I was so inspired. I think I might even have chatted there. I'm like, I love your energy. So I love being around and connecting with like-minded, positive, solution-oriented people. So this is the kind of this is like what I feel like I've been waiting for. So I'm extremely empowered. So just reach out to me. Anything that I can do to help, I'm there.
Thank you, Akil.
Thank you too to Sean Louis. Don't think I left you out, brother. Thank you too. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all the, since I've known you, you've been extremely supportive, and thank you for inviting me to sit on this panel and have this discussion with you all.
Thank you. All right, Ashley. Oh gosh. Y'all ready? Well, first of all,
Come on, Ashley.
Yeah.
start Ashley.
Bring us home. Bring us home.
Wait. Before she starts, I don't know if y'all can see the chat, but there's gonna be a gumbo off, and they trying to like low key not invite us.
Oh.
Okay, first of all, I said I was going to bring it to the cookout, so everybody's invited. And then I got challenged.
Okay.
I got challenged.
Well, Ashley is the one with the roux.
Right?
Right?
I can do a mean gumbo or etouffee. Let's see what we can do.
Okay.
All right.
A pledge. I pledge to continue to fight against systemic racism.
Mm.
And that's a strong pledge, because that's a pledge that, you know, could be detrimental to my life or my mental health, both. So my pledge is strong. And in doing that, I want to continue empowering Black businesses locally, statewide, nationally. We have so much, to Monique's point, we have so much power, and the resources are available for us to go out and bridge that gap, to be that liaison for others who may not know about the resources available, to pull them up and in. Competition, there is no competition. We are all one. This is a collective. So there's no need to compete when we're all going towards the same goal, which is fighting white supremacy and systemic racism.
Right.
And for my allies, I pledge to continue doing the work in consultation, being a Black voice that they can contact privately or publicly to discuss some of the issues they're having in white fragility and other issues that are arisen. So those are my pledges. And I'm here. Tucson is my home. I'm from Texas, but I've been here for 12 years and I'm not going anywhere.
Come on.
And I'm here to represent Tucson, Arizona. Thank you.
That's right.
I feel like I could just press the end button. I don't have to say anything, Ashley.
I love it.
Thank you guys so much for being here today. It meant so much for me, for you guys to first say yes, because I was a little nervous. Second, for you guys to show up and really put your heart on the table. To talk about what's going on. I want to first reach out to the people in the audience, and I want to challenge them to step up and do something different. Step up and support our Black businesses. Ms. Desiree just talked about funding she needed and sitting at tables and not getting the money she needs because she's a Black woman. That is not okay. We need to step up and do something different. There's a ton of people in this world, especially in Tucson, that are funding and investing in companies. And we have this nonprofit that needs the funding. So we as a community need to step up and do something different. You let me know what you need, and whatever I can provide, I will do that for you. And
thank you so much, Queen.
I will connect with you. My pledge is to continue to do the work. I have met all you guys through somebody, right? So now I'm going to continue to meet people. I'm going to continue to drive 30 minutes to go get food wherever it's at, and continue to support our Black businesses through Startup Tucson. We're going to do the work, and we're going to take all the information we have from this call to see who we can connect. All of those people that are on the list, all of those businesses, if they need help, just email me. Whatever we can do, we will do in-house. What we cannot do, we will tap in our partners to commit and pledge to do something different and to step up and to help. I do want to leave our community that's outside in our community here with just a Black Lives Matter, yes, but we are not just Black for the last 2 weeks. We are Black 365 days out of the year, 7 days a week. And you cannot leave 2 weeks from now and not still believe in what we have going on. Systemic racism is a thing. It is not a new thing. It is something that has been going on. So if you do not use your voice to change this world, what are you doing? We are asking for you to speak up and speak out, to stand up for us, to stand up for the people that cannot speak. We will use our voices, but we expect for you to use yours as well. And if you don't know how to do that, we are here to educate you. Now, we're tired. Believe it. We are tired. We are tired to have to fight to have a business. We're tired to have to fight to build a business. We're tired to have to tell you to come in and shop from our business. But we are not too tired to educate you, to make you better, because then we're better. So if you learn nothing from this today, learn that we are here, we are stepping up, we are standing out, and we want you to stand next to us, not behind us, and especially not in front of us. Stand next to us and support us. So thank you guys for joining. We thank you for being on live with us. We thank you for staying on this long. I know I went over. I thank you guys for being here today. You're so beautiful.